Welcome back. From time to time, questions have been raised over pornographic content and its availability in India. In 2018, the centre directed internet service providers to block 800 plus websites that hosted pornographic content. But data shows blocking websites hardly results in effective curbs, as X-rated content can be easily accessed even by minors. In fact, some would argue pornographic content and even soft porn is all pervasive in the digital world. Overall, consumption of internet porn has increased over the past years, with traffic shifting to other sites and the use of proxy servers. Then there is the spurt of adult content and themes on OTT platforms, again an area where parental control and access is tough to regulate. Is this becoming an epidemic in India, where young minds are being bombarded with X-rated content and are also leading to more and more sexual crimes, even rapes and gang rapes being committed by minors themselves? Needless to say, this has become one of the biggest headaches for parents and community at large. How to protect adolescents, especially from explicit content, in a day and age when even songs refer to rapes and violence? That's a big focus today. And joining me first is Uday Mahurkur, Information Commissioner of Government of India. He has started a campaign called Save Culture, Save Nation to wage a battle against porn addiction and explicit content. So I saw that you've started this content. Udayji, can you begin by telling me what was the genesis of this idea and why are you raising this particular issue today?
You see, I have been very serious about it for the last about 17, 18 years. If you remember, there is a film called Jism which had come in, I think, 2003, 2004. That time I had red flagged many people who were concerned about this whole thing, Thereafter, of course, social media platforms have come and it has gone far ahead. The basic issue is that there is a lobby in this country which is trying to earn money by selling sexual perversion. And that is the main cause of rape. If you read about what Asha Devi, the mother of Nirbhay, said last week when the 10th anniversary of that incident was remembered.
Yes.
She said that when the entire country came out in support of my daughter, I thought that I will see improvement. I will see that the number of rapes come down. But today I think they have increased and there are most horrendous cases. People don't even, people just read and forget. If you look at things, about 10 years ago when there used to be rape case, we used to really get perturbed as to what is happening. Today there is rape on toddlers. There was a rape in Palghar 4 days ago. 15-year-old girl being taken by a boy and about 8 people raping her over a period of 12 hours. So this is a very serious situation and this has got a direct connect with the kind of content which is being given by content producers. So my idea is that nation has to rise against people who want to sell sexual perversion to earn money. In the name of art, in the name of freedom, in the name of many other things. Shivani.
No, when it comes to pornography, one of the issues you've raised, we all know there are multiple studies on the impact of pornography or pornographic content on young minds. But when we do speak about this, the biggest difficulty is how to control it, especially in today's digital age. Even if there is a curb by age, content is so all pervasive that young kids get their hands onto this content. Isn't that the biggest challenge today?
No. You see, yesterday I had my first program in Bhopal, which is under the label of Save Culture, Save Nation campaign. It was very well attended and a lot of people came out with ideas. For example, Dubai, Singapore and China to a great extent have been able to control it. So it is difficult. But if you got the will, there is a way. There's technology available to, you see, for example, yesterday something which came to my notice was that there is an application in every phone called parental control.
Yeah.
Nobody is using it. Now, what is happening is that there is a child who is about 8 years old and he starts seeing pornography on phone. 10 years. So, I personally believe where there is a will, there is a way. And my attempt is to build a campaign against this menace. India cannot become a Vishwaguru with this situation. We are priding ourselves in saying that we will become a Vishwaguru. Now, Vishwaguru has a spiritual element. How will you become Vishwaguru with this kind of a thing? And Dubai, I am repeating, Dubai, Singapore and China have controlled this.
Okay.
And it is not about pornography. See the OTT, the kind of abusive language which is used. No cultured family can see an average OTT film for more than 5 minutes. This is the situation.
Speaking of this OTT content, the question that will also arise is, how is this material being cleared? Ultimately, there has to be a body that clears this material, or in fact, there are cases where no appropriate rating or coding is put to content that is clearly adult in nature. Isn't that the biggest issue here then?
You see, my idea is to build awareness. I think they are there doing their job. People can question them, but my idea is to build a public campaign on this. The kind of public campaign we saw against corruption in 2011-12. I think we need that type of campaign, and I invite everybody to join. And this is a campaign which can unite the nation. It cuts across religion, it cuts across caste, it cuts across regions. It cuts across political parties, so to say. Everybody who is concerned can join this and run his own campaign in his area. Idea is to, you see, teachers and parents have a major role to play. They are also responsible for this. If teacher, you see, take the example of Facebook, Shivani. Horrendous. Facebook is showing films of sexual perversion between father-in-law and daughter-in-law, between teacher and students. And there is nobody to protest, nobody to take action. So I think the country has to unite, cutting across all lines. Religion, caste, region, parties, everybody can come together on this campaign, on this issue.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Uday Mahurkur, thanks a lot for speaking to us and setting up our debate. Let's take this across to our guests joining us. Gautam Chintamani is a film historian, Trisha Shetty is an activist, Kasturi is an actress, and Dr. Jayanti Datta is a clinical psychologist. I have limited time, so I'll try and give everybody a couple of minutes to put their points across. Kasturi, I'm coming first to you. Don't you believe that there is indeed an epidemic of extremely racy, X-rated, almost soft pornographic material on OTT content? Is this a way to make a quick buck, even, at the cost of really spreading, perverse sexual behavior amongst young kids in India as well?
Hi, Shivani. First off, glad to be on the same panel and be able to listen to Sri Uday Mahurkur's thoughts live. While we all agree, I don't think anybody will disagree that yes, there is a proliferation of probably inappropriate content. Definitely, as you said, there is, if there is one project, one output that justifies the sex and the violence that is depicted in itself, then there are 100 imitators who just want to ride the wave and just peddle the sex, peddle the violence. They don't care who watches it as long as, it creates a quick buzz and a quick buck as well. I agree with all that. But that said, I don't agree that OTT content by itself, regulation or restriction of any content for that matter, will suddenly change our society. In fact, I have a huge problem with somebody saying that movies or audiovisual material, it used to be movies. Movies used to be the whipping boy before. They used to blame cinema in theaters, on TV. अरे ऐसा content देखकर हम बर्बाद हो रहे हैं, हमारे बच्चे टीवी में देख रहे हैं. So today we are singing a different tune. Today it is OTT. Tomorrow it will be something else. There is going to be audiovisual content. There are going to be videos that are available to our society. Today, as you yourself said in your prologue, in your preamble, if India doesn't produce it, India restricts it, there are ways and means to get whatever you want, however detrimental it may be, however offensive it may be, at your fingertips. If you want it, you can. This is active entertainment. It's not passive where you have to switch on a TV. It's not passive where you have to go to a cinema theater to ruin yourself. You just open your phone and you can get it at your fingertips. If you want it, you will get it regardless of how many restrictions are placed. And this is happening in China. This is happening in Singapore. So restriction and regulation are one part of the story.
No,
but
restriction and bans possibly do not work. But do you feel that regulation will also not work? Where there are strict guidelines on who can watch that content, there are parental controls, kids control, and proper ratings?
We need to understand that rape, I want to, as a feminist and as an advocate, I want to concentrate on the matter of rape. Mr. Sri Uday ji ne kaha ki this is the primary reason of rape. Ma'am, rape is a historical and social issue in India. Let us not frivolize it by saying it is triggered by movies. No. It is triggered by OTT.
I don't think he said this was the primary reason, but he said that there is a proliferation of such content and this is adding to that kind of perversion in society. He didn't say it was a primary reason for rape.
Rape has gone up. No, Nirbhaya was not triggered by movies. This is a caste-ridden religion, caste, hierarchy, social authority, power. Rape is a power and accessibility issue.
Fair enough. I think those issues are also pretty acceptable as far as sexual crimes against women are concerned. In any case, this is a gender crime which is done to women, to subvert them. So I'm not denying that reality at all.
So
Let me bring in
that understanding. People need to see. I have a wine shop right outside my house. My parents have taught me not to drink. Right? Drinking is a big menace in this society. In fact, that is a bigger cause of rape and sexual attack.
No, but that's precisely the point. No, Trish. That's precisely the point, Kasturi. For example, there needs to be great... Kasturi, one second. Can I take this to my other guests as well?
The property really increase awareness among individuals.
Yeah. So I come to that. Kasturi, just 1 second. Just yield. I don't want to talk over you. I need to go to my other guests as well. But this is primarily the issue that, anything in per se cannot be the justification of any crime. But sexually explicit content in the hands of young children, it has a very detrimental impact on their psychology. And there are several studies for that. And there are obviously, for example, pornographic or soft porn material is very derogatory to women. Many young kids don't understand that that's not how sexual relationships go in life. Porn is not what a real sexual relationship is. I have very limited time, unfortunately, so I'll give Gautam the first minute. Gautam, do you believe that there is a need to restrict such content because of how easily it gets into the hands of children?
I totally agree that there is the need of the hour is to make sure that you not only control what is being put out there, but also the way it is being accessed. Arguments that everybody is presenting here, they do have a valid point, but we fail to understand one thing, that we are not in a utopian situation. Now, what OTT is doing and what I think Udayji is trying to highlight, or what I think a lot of people are missing out, is that OTT is normalizing the kind of content which would have been tabooed just 10 years ago.
Right.
Yes, Nirbhaya is not directly related to OTT content or porn content, but watching a show about Nirbhaya, watching a show about that kind of perversion may and can very well trigger young minds. Young minds are impressionable minds. They may want to experiment. They may want to try something. And parents these days also feel guilty that they are not being able to give that much time to the children. And access to technology is very, very, very easy. I'll give you an example. What it has done is that it has normalized something which should be very alarming. I'll give you a small little example. I mean, let's take the whole artistic argument here. Yes, Roman Polanski is a great filmmaker. Yes, Roman Polanski has had a case on him where he raped a 13-year-old girl in France and in US and has fled since then. Roman Polanski can be lauded, but the question is that if the 13-year-old girl was my daughter or my sister, then my argument would be completely different. I think we need to take that into account, that yes, material out there does have an impact on young minds, and it is very easily accessible.
Okay, I have limited time, so once again, Trisha, I'm coming to you. You know, we've got instances of even young minors now indulging in quote-unquote gang rapes. They're filming these acts. And there's been an alarm over especially what is referred to as gang rape porn. Do you believe that there is indeed a very, very tricky, troubling situation in society where young kids are getting access to this kind of material very easily?
Let's be very specific about what we're talking about. If we are talking about rapes, gang rapes, and how to ensure we can keep our children and our women safe, right? Then we have to have a very honest conversation. And in that spirit, I wouldn't have gone back to an issue of 2012, but since your first panelist, Mr. Uday, cited a movie of Jism, which I don't even know is how many years old, I wish he'd also then spoken about his fellow BJP members who were caught back in 2012 watching pornography, who had to resign, and then as of 2019 was appointed as a deputy CM in Karnataka. I wish he'd spoken about his fellow members who were caught watching porn. Now, let's talk about also how do we make sure our women are safe. I wish Mr. Uday had spoken about why out of the Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao fund, only 78%, more than 78% has been used by the current administration on media advocacy, inherently for cosmetic reasons, where the Parliamentary Standing Committee has asked the government to focus on education and health.
Okay, so you're saying this is not really the right tree to bark on. There are other issues that can be taken care of. Dr. Jayanti Datta, I'm really sorry. I have only about 30 seconds left on the show. I want to come, one second please. I want to come to you very quickly on what do you think parents can do as far as this issue is concerned about restricting access to explicit material for their kids. So, ma'am, very quickly.
I'm amazed what kind of deliberations you made me listen to. We are talking about safety for the children. Now, in such cases, 3 months old child is raped. 8 years old child is accused that he attempted to rape. Now, if you don't exercise any control on this material which you are placing on the internet, you will not be able to control it at all, because children are curious and whatever they can lay their hands on, they will, consume it, and they would try to take it out, implement it.
Okay.
I think
unfortunately, I've run out of time. I do regret the fact that we didn't have more time for our guests, but I do thank them for joining us. We are going to toss across to the right stand now.